Okay, so we're going to talk about probability. Okay, so when we're talking about probability is the chance that something is going to happen. Okay, so when I go to flip a coin, the probability that I'm going to get heads is 1 out of 2. Because I want heads. Heads is what I want, and my total options are heads or tails. Okay, so probability for heads is 1 out of 2. Okay, so if you're rolling a dice, what's the probability that I would land on a 5? 1 out of 6, because what I want out of the total options. So there's 6 options, so that's why there's 1 out of 6. Okay. So looking at this chart right up here, it says you can determine a ratio as probability. Sometimes they ask you how likely is it to occur. If there is little chance it's going to occur, it's going to be impossible or not as likely. Does that make sense? And then when you get a 50% chance, you get equally likely. And if it's certain it's going to happen, then you're going to get certain to occur. Okay, so like, what are the chances of me winning the lottery? It's not impossible, but it's probably not very likely, right? So the percentage would be over here in this, like, closer to 0%, but not quite 0. Okay? You have to actually play. So if I don't play the lottery, is there a chance of me winning the lottery? No. Okay? But if I play the lottery, then there's a chance that it might occur. Okay? So looking at this, there are 4 equally likely outcomes in this little spinner over here. It says red, blue, green, or yellow. They're all equal, so there's 4 opportunities, okay? What is the probability of green or blue?
1 out of 4.
Well, green or blue? 2 out of 4. So they have 2 out of 4. Probability, it can be written as a percentage. It can be written as a fraction, okay? And it's always simplified. So if there's a 2 out of 4 chance, it reduces to 1/2, right? Okay. So complementary events. Oops, I don't mean to do that. I don't know why it's doing that. But complementary events. So it's the opposite of what you're doing. So are 2 events in which either one or the other must happen. Both cannot happen at the same time. The sum of the probabilities is 1. So when I flip a coin, the probability of me getting heads is 1 out of 2. The complementary is tails, which is 1 out of 2, and they would add up to 100%, right? I'm either going to get heads or tails, right? Yes? Okay, so that's the complementary event. That's the opposite, like kind of the opposite or whatever. So if I rolled a dice, probability of rolling an even would be 3 out of 6, because 2, 4, and 6. So its complementary event would be the probability of rolling an odd, which would be 3 out of 6, which is 1, 3, and 5, okay? So look at the next part right here. It says there is a 25% chance that Sam will win a prize. What is the probability that Sam will not win a prize? Well, if she has a 25% chance of winning, what's the opposite? 70. So there's a 75% chance I'm not going to win a prize. Okay? So 25% that I am, 75. So it's more likely that I'm not going to win a prize, right? Okay? So there is a 90% chance that it will rain. What is the probability it will not rain? 10%. Okay? So we're going to say 10%. Okay? So now here's where we're going to get into some stuff. Okay, 1 pen is chosen without looking from a bag that has 3 blue pens, 6 red, 3 green. Determine the probability of each event. Express each answer as a fraction, decimal, and percent. Okay, so the first one, this right here stands for probability. The probability, that little P right there, and whatever's in the parentheses is what we're looking for. Okay, so the probability of green. Well, how many green were there? There were 3. Out of how many total options? 12. Okay. So out of 12 total options. Well, that's fraction, but is that simplified? No, we're going to have to simplify it. So we're going to have to go down to 1/4. Okay. So that's my fraction. What's my decimal version of 1/4? 0.25, right? And what's my percentage? 25%. Okay, so the probability of me reaching into that bag and drawing a green is 25%. Okay, now the probability of blue or red. 9 out of 12, okay, which reduces to 3/4, because I would divide the top and bottom by 3. Okay, 3/4 written as a decimal is perfect, or 75%. Okay, here's where we get into that other one. Probability of not red. So that means everything else but red. 6 out of 12, which reduces to 1/2, which is 0.5 or 50%. Okay? So, look, it's pretty simple, right? Okay? Take your what you want out of the total that you have. Okay, look at the back. A set of 30 tickets are placed in the bag. There are 6 baseball tickets, 4 hockey tickets, 4 basketball tickets, 2 football tickets, 3 symphony tickets, 2 opera tickets, 4 ballet, and 5 theater. 1 ticket is selected without looking. Determine each probability. Okay, what's the probability of a basketball being drawn? 4 out of 30. Okay, and we're just going to write it as a fraction because it doesn't tell us anything else. Okay, so how can I always have to reduce it. So fractions, if we have a fraction form, we're going to reduce it every time. So we're going to divide by 2, and I get 2/15. Okay. What's the probability of a sports event? Okay, what's sports? Baseball, hockey, basketball, that's 14, 6, 4, 14. Football, 16. Are we considering ballet a sport? I would say it's more, I don't know. So we're going to go with 16. Ballet is a sport, dude. Like, it's pretty rough.
Don't you have to, like dislocate or something?
It's gross. So 16 out of 30. Okay, they're both divisible by 2. So we're going to get 8 out of 15. Okay, so 8 out of 15. Okay, what is the probability of opera or ballet?
6 out of 30.
Okay, 6 out of 30. If you reduce it, it reduces by 6 actually. So you're going to get 1/5. Okay, I'm going to give you a second. I want you to do 7, 8, and 9 on your own, and then we're going to talk about it in just a minute. So soccer. Well, we don't have any soccer, y'all said. So soccer is 0 out of 30, that's as simplified as it's going to get. And you're going to do not symphony. Well, there's 3 that are symphony. So not symphony would be 27 out of 30, which reduced to 9/10. And then theater, which is 5 out of 30, which reduced to 1/6. Okay? So there we go on those. Now, the spinner shown is spun once. Determine the probability of each event. How likely is the event? Okay, so look at this one. Probability of an even number. We have 2, 4, 6, 8. So 4 out of 8, which reduces to 1/2. The probability of a prime number. Okay, so some of this wording you're going to have to remember. What's a prime number? It's divisible by 1 and itself. So prime is going to be 1. We're not considering 1 a prime anymore. I think they've changed the world. It used to be a prime. 3 is going to be prime. 5 is going to be prime. And 7 is going to be prime. So we're going to say 3. Oh, yeah. 2, sorry. And 2. So we're going to say actually 4 out of 8, which reduces to 1/2.
So
2 is prime. Yeah, 2 is even and a prime. But so a factor of 12. Well, factors of 12 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. So that's 5 out of 8. Okay, what's composite mean? If prime is 1 in by itself,
Put it in.
other numbers can go into it. So if it's not prime. So we would have 4 and 6 and 8. So 3 out of 8. Prime is the opposite of composite. So, and then greater than 10. Are any of them greater than 10? Nope. Neither prime nor composite. So are we considering that one?
I don't know. That's all I was asking.
I would think that's 1. Huh? So I'm going to go with 1. So 1 out of 8. Because I always learned that 1 was prime, and then we took it out of the equation for some reason. Okay, so